So here's the way it works. We solve hard questions together. You got a small group, so this is super duper double awesome. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to have a leader and a helper on every question. Reader's going to be the last sentence. That's going to tell us, what are we doing next? What should we have done, or what are we doing now? So that's cool. Frames your brain. Then we go back to the top of the question and we read it nice, slow, out loud for context. We're trying to figure out like what kind of project is it? Agile, hybrid, waterfall, just like traditional project, whatever. And then what's the problem? Like, why do we care? Like, what's interesting about this? Once you determine that, you can say like, I might have seen this. I might not have seen this in my life, but this is what I do. Don't look at the answers. Just use your brain. Then we go through one by one and you say, you read A, you say, I like it or don't like it for whatever reason. Just have a logic or say, dude, I don't know. And then we go to B, C, D. We work it out. The helper's there to help. We chat on the chatty chat thing. If you don't know anything and you're new, ain't no big deal. We're going to go through on gut here and logic, and we'll be fine. So we're going to go in order. Gil is going to lead the party. Emily's going to help him out, and then we'll go from there. Let me share. Here we go.
All right. So the question is, as a servant leader, what is your best course of action here? So what would the project manager do next? As a servant leader, what is your best course of action here? All right. You're working as a facilitator on a flow-based agile project, and one of your stakeholders has sent you an unreasonable request. This product function would necessitate extensive research and literature review. It's a brand new feature that hasn't been reviewed on any of the platforms yet. Your team also believes that this functionality is impractical and should not be needed for the product to work properly. As a servant leader, what is your best course of action here? So we're definitely in agile.
Okay.
Flow-based agile, that is, because it says it right there, flow-based agile.
That helps.
So basically the problem is one of the stakeholders is asking for something that's basically an unreasonable request. And it's gonna require extensive research, and it's basically extensive research. It's probably gonna add more time to this whole project. And our team also believes the functionality is impractical. So, and since we always make sure the team's input is important, the team's input is important in this, so they think it's impractical. So what should the servant leader best course of action? So what I would do, probably kind of talk to this stakeholder, like, look, the team seems to see, kind of give them like, look, this seems a little far-fetched. What they're trying to do, it's going to extend the scope. It's going to just prolong whatever. It's going to require a lot more than what the original requirements.
So you're going to go to him and talk to him and be like, something's funky, we don't want to do it. Or what?
I probably would talk to the team first, find out exactly what's what's impractical, and then kind of bring it up to the stakeholder and say, look, our team, we've discussed this seems unreasonable. Can we maybe put it on the backlog and maybe do it later? I don't know. It's a product backlog, that is. So yeah, so with that being said, all right, let's see what question A. Work out what needs to be true to get this feature enabled. Yeah, I don't like it because we've already said right out the bat, it's unreasonable. The team thinks it's impractical. And question A is like, let's work it out. Like, no, it's impractical. So I don't like A. I'm going to take A out. Call an emergency, stand up and find ways to include the miss feature as soon as possible. I like the emergency stand up maybe to kind of get everybody in the room and say, hey, but I don't know, let's hold on to it because it may be the best of the unlikes. Meet with the customer and apologize for missing out on the feature in the first sprint. I don't understand why we're apologizing because the stakeholder, sorry, I'm like reading this question again,
Yeah, that's cool.
is requesting, hold on, one of the stakeholders sent you an unreasonable request. Yeah, it's not like we missed anything. It was the
Right.
stakeholders sent us and we're apologizing for missing out. Like, but no, it wasn't even part of the sprint. So I don't even like C for that reason.
What's another reason? Like if it didn't even say that part, what's another reason not to like C?
Meet with the customer and apologize for missing out on the feature in the first sprint. We don't meet with the customer, we meet with the team first, right?
Okay, so you want to meet with team now? What else? Based on like the type of project we got going on.
Missing out on the feature of the first sprint. Oh, it's because of the flow base agile. The
Yeah,
first sprint.
Yeah, there is no sprint.
Got it.
It's like we're just rolling. We're just
yeah.
moving cards.
Got it.
Cross. All right, sweet.
And
So
then,
you're cool with killing
yeah,
C? Or?
yeah. Let's kill C because that's
sweet,
based on that. Investigate the impact of the missed feature and add the features to the backlog for complete analysis and estimation. That's kind of what I said. I would put it back. But I don't like the fact that we're saying miss feature. Like, I don't think we missed it. The stakeholders asking for an unreasonable. Maybe I'm looking too much into this, but
Sure.
I like D because we're going to investigate the impact of the miss feature and add it to the features to the backlog for complete analysis and estimation. So I'm between B and D. So I don't like B because according to the team, and the team's important, the input is important here. They believe that this functionality is impractical and should not be needed for the product to work properly.
What would the perfect answer for you be? E.
Pretty much D without the without the impact, without the miss feature. I don't like miss feature. We didn't miss a feature according to this.
So you want to put it on the backlog? I thought you said we're not going to do it.
Well, I guess we could put it in the product backlog and then kind of reanalyze it later.
But if it's a bad idea, dude, why are we wasting our time?
I guess me just to kind of please because I'm a people pleaser, I guess please the stakeholder.
Are you just pleasing me because I'm just pressing you too? I'm worried about that too. Like, all right, so we're either gonna we're gonna let them pile whatever we want on this backlog. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm going with D. I like if it's impractical and it's not why even, me, I would probably put it on the backlog. I don't shit.
Don't get scared.
Emergency stand-up include missed features as soon as possible. Why would we add the missed features if it's impractical? Yeah, I'm gonna go with D. I'm gonna stick to my guns.
All right, yeah, D. You didn't go with E. That's sweet. Emily.
Yeah, I think I'm with Gil. I don't like B because it says, find ways to include the missed feature. It's like, okay, we're disregarding everything the team says. We're just jumping right in and including it anyways. So I don't like B because of that. Yeah, I think,
just pause on that point. You said that's just like if you were if Gil was a people pleaser, would he have chosen B? Like as a leader, I'm not selling B. I'm just saying is that what, if you said, yes, sir, ma'am, I'll take what you want. I'll just throw it in the back. Is that the answer B, like people pleaser?
I think, I guess it really just depends on what the impact of that stakeholder has. Is he one of our primary users? Because on the other hand, jumping in to incorporate a new feature, if that ends up pushing back, a timeline or functionality that, all other 49 stakeholders are looking for, you're not really looking at the big picture. You're not really pleasing everybody in that sense. Okay. So if it had said if the owner, the product owner or the sponsor sent you that request, B might be more of the right approach. Okay. I don't know. That's my thought. there.
I love it. Keep going to D. Tell me on D. Like what about D jumped out at you?
You know, my first thought, okay, what would I do in the real world if I was approached with this? You know, I just taking my way out, like take myself out of the questions.
Yeah, man.
I would figure out, okay, what is the true impact of this functionality? And then I'd probably go back to that stakeholder and say, okay, you know, this isn't in our original plan, our original roadmap. This isn't what we had, you know, agreed upon at the inception of this project. But this is definitely a feature that we could add on, you know, later iterations down the line. And so that's what kind of drew me to D, is it's talking about, okay, let's put it in the backlog. And then we can kind of really analyze what the real extent of the effort is. So that's kind of what, where I went to D, but D also, like, to me implies that we're for sure going to do it. We're moving it into the backlog, and I don't really, you know.
So like what Emily, let's write E. Let's say no. Let's just say no.
Okay. I mean, I think, yeah, I'd meet with the customer to let them know that this request doesn't fall in line with the scope of this product.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We'll put it in the nice to have bucket.
Yeah, but it's
So
just,
it doesn't match. You can tell them a lot of things. Doesn't fit the product vision, not what we're going to do. It's not feasible. It's not reasonable. We don't have the budget. I mean, you can think of a million ways, tell them something. So if E was there, would you go with E?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Haskell, did I trick them?
Yes.
You're on mute, dude.
I believe I did. I believe
What,
I
what?
was.
Would
I
you
was
go
on
with
mute, and
Emily,
I-
first of all, Emily and Gil, you did imagine. My job is to pull junk out of you. You did amazing. You're doing amazing. Don't get upset. Why is E not good, Haskell?
E is not good because it's just another way to piss someone off.
That's
think-
one reason. Yeah.
Personally, I think, you know, if it's a choice between B and D, I would choose D. And I don't see the word missed as being, you know, oops, we missed it the last time. I see it as being something that's just not implemented. If we don't implement this feature, is the company going to suffer from it? However impractical or unreasonable a request, is it something that we benefit from? So I think that D would be a very good thing to do, just to have some sort of investigation, and if it proves to be worth doing, then we could put it on the backlog and do a complete analysis.
Okay, I'm cool. And Emily, just for the record, thank you, Haskell. First question, dude. First day, not bad. Like, you guys both picked D to start with, right? You guys both picked D. So you're good to go. Now let's get into this. So boom, you got it right? And so let's think about this for 1 second. Like, imagine the team, like you guys both in flow-based agile, you picked it out. You understood that the team is the boss in this game, in a sense that they're running the show. We want to respect them. You both, it took me a lot of pushing to get you to make a decision that you didn't want to make, like, which is great. So you stuck to your guns. And then let's think about like the team, like if the 4 or 5 or 6 of us were in the fight building something and somebody crazy comes and says, we need to make this change. We need to add this addition. Like, and we're already rolling and it's kind of like a little bit off guard. Like, is there a certain internal inertia or like hold up to be like, shit, man, like, come on, dude. Like, there's like a certain like, dude, we're rolling. Like, it's kind of like, it's better just to say, nah, not reasonable, not like unreasonable. I don't know what that means. I guess I'm an unreasonable dude. And so like the product, and the other thing is that this should not be needed for the product to work properly. Like, what's the ultimate goal of like an agile team?
Provide a working demo, a working product.
Be nimble.
Yeah, to like deliver value for the customer. So like product to work properly, like carts and buggies technically work properly for like getting around, but not what I want to do. But like, I'm not saying bad stuff about what you're doing. I'm saying great. So like even if it, just to finish off, you did a great job. Even if they bring in something that's like really crazy and giant and a big change, and we put it on the backlog, what might we be able to do once we start to like look at it, estimate it, and analyze it a little bit. If there is goodness in there, what might we be able to find potentially with that big thing, Emily?
Yeah,
Is that I didn't understand that question.
I guess-
Yeah, it's okay. So like if this person we put it on the backlog, showing relative respect to the person and bringing it on there, it's a potential thing that we could do. And then what does it say? Investigate the impact of the feature and do an analysis, estimation, stuff like that if it makes it up to a certain level. Like as we start to unwind this thing a little bit, like what might we find? Like
It may provide value, right? Greater value, more value.
yeah, there might be like, if not all of it, it might be like, oh, well, yeah, there's a kernel of truth here. There's like a little bit, like we can take that, like we're not gonna do all of this, but like,
Better than nothing.
yeah, we'll give a little bit, like, you're right. Like we are missing something where there's an interface between the customer or whatever. Like, oh, let's take that and we can do that little functionality. So, I mean, like just blindly, like stiff arming it, not the right approach. Could be from internal inertia or whatever. But if we go in there, we break it down, not spend years doing it, we might be able to find like, oh, because at the end of the day, this is stakeholder input and we want to be respectful of it. So sweet. Today is the first day to get you to make it easier. So take that action, reach out to me if you need help. Obviously subscribe and do all that jazz, hit the notification button, blah, blah, blah on the podcast and YouTube. And then if you want to talk to me or my coaches or anything else, all you got to do is reach out Scott at PMmasterPrep.com or phone number 757-759-5282. I get calls every day. So test me, or just come to the website, submit an application to the accelerator. That just gets us involved and has a conversation, because if you want to get help, we want to help you. Simple as that. Talk to you later. You're going to do great. Follow the process. Adios.